once you enter into the new city. But we don't remember the culture, so we look at that as being belligerent because it's not sanctioned by the uniform system.
Hey, so with this Diddy thing, do you think they just trying to the Rico Diddy to rob him pretty do you think they're just trying to rob Diddy? Because it's a lot of stuff they saying, like the baby oil and this and that. Like they don't even like, some people say, oh, it wasn't baby oil, it was some kind of drug, but they promoting the baby oil thing, and they say, oh, he got guns with serial numbers fried off. I don't believe it, because I mean, Diddy got too many people around him that's legit that he can pay to be armed. So like to have it's like a lot of stuff I think they just threw in there to promote in the media COINTELPRO tactics to say, oh yeah, he had guns and baby oil. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I think it's a black hand trying to rob this brother. I mean, even though we know Diddy might have been doing his freak offs and nasty parties, I'm talking about, I think this overall is the government, these black hand laws of London. He done pissed somebody off that's at their high table, or he, you know, and they trying to just rob this brother using the RICO, man. You know, what you think, Rod?
As long as it bring down Clive Davis, Jimmy Iovine, Larry Cohen, and all other them rotten ass executives,
Right.
his purpose is served no matter what they doing.
I feel you on it. I like
That's
that.
That's why he said, I run this city. Tell the cops, DA, the feds, come get me. And if you try to leave me for dead, you coming with me. Because that's their MO.
Right.
We forget about, it was a brother from Wisconsin back in the 80s who, this is the origin of Pizzagate, by the way. It was a brother who was a speaker. I think it was the Democratic Convention, like 83, 84. And he was a child trafficker. And he was using political connections to funnel children, little boys specifically, into DC for those politicians to have those illicit parties with $5,000 hot dogs and $2,000 slices of pizza. Right? The code was revealed in the Barack Obama administration, and because they were still using the lingo that the FBI was following. This is why the Hillary Clinton emails, the Podesta files, and the Hunter Biden emails were so critical to the fall of the deep state in DC, because all of their codes is on there. And a lot of that stuff is on the dark web, and some of it is even on the regular web in the public domain. Some of her emails, like the Benghazi situation, where her and Barack Obama was deciding whether they was going to do something or not. He ended up going to a fundraiser and she ended up going to a book signing or some dumb shit like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something as simplistic as that, while you got a whole U.S. embassy under attack.
Hey, Rod, my next question I got for you is diplomatic immunity, because this ties into what was Doc case and things, and other. I'm just looking into that diplomatic immunity.
Right.
With diplomatic immunity, how does that work? Like with the RICO and in connection with the U.S. Corps, like where people can't be tried for certain crimes over here. Like what immunity do you have as a diplomat over here under the in U.S. Corps system? Go ahead.
A diplomat pretty much have a free pass in the foreign land to commit whatever crimes they want to. Right? But the problem is certain diplomats can be kidnapped by the host state, and the host state can put up a prolonged resistance to the international claim of diplomatic status and say that we don't know nothing about it, what they call plausible denial. So the host state would be like, I didn't know he was no diplomat. What are you doing over here if he a diplomat? without me knowing. They was like, well, you got all the paperwork. I don't got no paperwork. But all the time they got the paperwork. They know who he is. They know where he at. They know what he doing. They know what he ain't doing.
Damn.
Right? Now remember, as an organic to this land, even if you get diplomatic status somewhere else, you still classify under the United States corporate as the enemy of the state.
Right.
Because the state itself is the enemy because it's de facto. Anybody that's de jure, which is a lawful heir to the land, walking around on the land, is an enemy to the de facto corporation because they have jurisdictional right at any given time to read Article 77 of the Iroquois Constitution, grandfathered in, and cancel the Constitution of the United States and close the corporation because we know how to run government now. Anybody that get close to that, like Malachi was so close to it, all he had to do was turn around and trip over a law book, and there it is in his face. Right? And now, because of what he had built up, he had the capability of exercising the jurisdictional supremacy and putting in the public domain Article 77 of the Iroquois Confederacy and canceling out their rights to do business on the land for violating all of their treaties, violating the rights of the organic people of the land, violating the treaty agreement not to cross the Appalachians, and all of that.
That's right.
Everything they did was a fraud on us. Fraud vitiates or cancels or nullifies all contracts. And their whole contractual system was predicated upon the discovery doctrine. The imbecility was predicated upon Papa Bulls, right? The only way to prove otherwise is to assume your proper person or your proprietary persona and assert your jurisdictional claim in the public domain as the pretender to the throne. And as you go about informing the people of who you are and what you're doing, you garner support of the organic tribes who recognize the tribal tradition of the grid to tell the stories of what happened to the people of the land and why they ain't got their proper just on their own land. Because you have a foreign corporation masquerading as your government, a certain jurisdiction over you, because you don't know that the proper jurisdiction of authority lies with the tribes, and therefore you don't support the tribes because the government told you they was gangs. And they vilified the word gang and implied criminal activity when the word gang is another word for tribe. And they don't tell you that part in order to keep you deceived into thinking that the tribes is criminals for tribing on the land. Right? Which goes back to the commission of the government of the corporation to put bounties for our scalps. They wasn't looking for straight hair. They was looking for wool.
Right? Go ahead.
Originally, they was taking our heads, but it was taking up too much space in their trading stations when they was cashing in for the people of the land that they killed. Go back to the violent bloody oath of the papacy. Right? They say the agreement was to kill the kings, the princes, and the people of the land. Why would they do that? That's the only way you can claim the land is the rightful heirs to the land has to either acquiesce, surrender, give up, which we ain't gonna never do, or you have to win it by conquest and assert your proper claim at the close of the age. They fail to state a proper claim that's superior to the jurisdiction of the tribes. So now you go back to the FEMA continuity of government document. FEMA don't work for the U.S. no more. They work for the tribes. They can't be activated until the tribes activate them. But they keep putting all of this dirt on the name FEMA under the pretense of failure to perform so that they can say that the tribes is not ready to receive government back because they can't even run FEMA.
Damn. Hey, I got another question for you, bro. We're gonna get ready to get off. We got about we'll just do it for about 2 hours. We got about less than 20 minutes. Like I ask you this question. Now I did some research on sovereignty, and I hear people I used to hear back in the day when I was in moral science class with under brother Joe Ells Bay. He used to tell me, man, don't call yourself sovereign, don't call yourself sovereign. I used to hear him say that, but I never did really just look into it until just recently on really understanding what sovereignty was about. And because I hear people say, oh, we organic to the land, we sovereign, so this and that, right? So I looked at the word sovereign and come to find out it's a legal fiction. It only exists inside of U.S. courts. The sovereign, it only exists inside of the system. As you only can be a sovereign in the system. Like outside of the system, there's no such thing. Besides, now then the other thing too, and I'm gonna let you respond. The organic people thing. Cause I hear people say, "Oh, we organic people." When I went to go look up organic people on international files, there's no such thing as an organic people. It only say indigenous people rights, or indigenous this. It don't say nothing about organic. It never even mentions the word. Only time it mentions the word organic is talking about vegetables. Now it could be some higher axiological thing connected with people and vegetables. I can get into that, but I'm saying they only, when they in the court files, they only refer to, when you say on that, when I look up the word organic, it only comes up as plants and vegetables. As far as like stuff on agricultural violations, there's never a mention of organic as far as a people. The only word they mention of they mention the word natural in a certain way, but it was really indigenous is the word they use a lot. So what's your take on the sovereign being a legal entity? Because they say that sovereignty is a legal entity, a legal fiction, and a fiction is, it's made up shit, artificial. Go ahead.
If you go to Google and type in sovereign law, it's going to tell you that it's the law that's by royalty. The sovereign is the royalties of any land, and they identify under the Uniform Commercial Code as being outside of the jurisdiction of the codes. When you go to the laws that the American corporation follow, they follow the United States codes, right? You have to get out of the jurisdiction of the codes and the statutes. Statutes are underneath the codes. Statutes is the Chevron doctrine. It's the corporate's body able to issue statutes in order to govern its internal workings. We've been classified as the internal mechanisms under the statutes that they govern by being citizens. Citizen is, you have to be registered as a citizen in order for the corporation to have jurisdiction over you. You don't register to be a sovereign. You born sovereign, owing no debts, right? And having no debts owed to you, right? But when you in your sovereign capacity, you can operate from a position called universal law, which overrides contract law. You can't exercise universal law until you figured out how to become a sovereign or a royal persona in order to issue edicts. And you have to issue the edict from a superior legal jurisdiction, as in the case of natural law, which is the laws of nature, and universal law that applies beyond the earth. Once you operating from universal law, now you operating from fifth dimensional mind matrix, the spirit realm, because you outside of what the naked eye can see with universal law. It also is the laws, what we call hermetic laws or hermetic principles, are universal laws. Wherever you go as a three-dimensional being, the three-dimensional construct will apply until you learn how to apply a superior jurisdiction or a higher construct of laws, as in the case of universal law, right? complements natural law, but it's belligerent to contract law. The laws of nature is belligerent to contract law because most of the nature. So when we talking about sovereign capacity, we talking about a capacity as a royal persona to issue edicts from the position of a power seat or throne. When you talk about organic, it's a new term. So it won't be quantified by the old system. When you're making a reference to the organic people, you're making a reference to the people that was there from the onset, uninterrupted in the steady flow of genetic inheritance from mother to daughter, mitochondrial laxy gene, the immortal gene. So now when you say organic, that means you emerge like the vegetables, like the trees from the ground that which you walk, this holy ground. And this is why all our ancestors are buried here, because this has been sacred land for us since this was Atlantis.
Hey, so the American Indians would be GMO, and we would be the organic, and they would be GMO. The American Indians, they genetically modified. Hey, this is the next question I got for you, Rod. We almost out of time. Hey, y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you want to show brother Rod Hayes some love on the Cash App. I dropped in the links for the people that was asking about it. They said somebody said that Rod, they sent you some money, but you didn't accept it, so it didn't go through. So you like,
You know, I get shadow banned on Cash App too.
yeah, me too. So
You know, so if people be messaging me talking about, did you get the money I sent you? I don't know. I can go look, but a lot of times I get it. A lot of times, sometimes I don't. Like I don't let nothing just sit there and don't respond to it.
Yeah.
That means that they had to either went to the wrong Cash App or Cash App put it on the back burner.
Hey, this is what I got for you, Rod. This is a powerful question right here, man, because we're dealing with jurisdiction, and we're dealing with wars of the state, and we're dealing with federal jurisdiction, state jurisdiction. We know that. So, what gives them jurisdiction over you, and how deep does this jurisdiction thing go, man? Because if you under federal jurisdiction, state jurisdiction, U.S. courts, I mean, how do we get around this jurisdiction thing? Do we unplug?
The only way around it, the only way around it is for us to go back to the tribal traditions, grandfather us in, and use a superior jurisdiction that brings their corporate system to an end. Because until we in power, they in power. And as long as they in power, they gonna torture us every chance they get.
I noticed some too, Raw. There's another question tying in with that question. I noticed that back because you said that all crimes were commercial, so I did research on it and did a tape on it called Crash Course on Commercial Crimes. Y'all want to go check that tape out on the video side. I said that all crimes commercial. So technically, a state court is not. It's technically not supposed to be dealing with subject matters when it come down to commercial crimes. But I think this what's happening is based on my research is that we don't know, so we just going in there and let them proceed with whatever they got going on, and it's pretty much criminal enterprise. Because we don't know, we just go in there and let them proceed and don't challenge jurisdiction on subject matter. Like the first time you're gonna challenge jurisdiction on subject matter because he can't even hear this. This magistrate can't even hear this subject matter because this is not even the proper venue for the subject matter. So,
but that's a whole what's it called voir dire in court, where you have to stand there and banter back and forth legalese to the judge. And this is why most of us don't challenge jurisdiction, because they have so many means by which to deceive you into accepting a jurisdiction, right? If they arrest you for a crime, what's the first thing they do in the courts?
Adjudicate. They supposed to give you an indictment. They supposed to give you an
Mm-mm.
indictment.
When they first take you into the court, look, the police arrest you, take you down, fingerprint
a hearing.
What kind of hearing?
Bail hearing. Is it a bail hearing?
It's called arraignment.
Arraignment, yeah, arraignment. Go ahead.
Okay. In the Michigan court rules, this thing that they doing is called joinder of the parties for civil action. Their whole system is predicated upon financial distribution of the trust. When they say all crimes are commercial, they mean they all have a monetary value to the judiciary. Right?
What they call it a charge.
Right. So the charge is a financial instrument. Just like they go to they got a price tag on stuff in the store, and when you get to the register and ring it up, they tell you what your final charge is. That's what they do in court when they give you all them count 1 through 99.
Go ahead.
And you get convicted on count 1, 12, 13, 14, 22. So you get convicted on 5 different counts. It reduces your overall charge when you cash out at the sentence. It's trickery in the first degree.
I'm telling, this is crooks like no other, boy. If you ain't up on the game, like Mark Brady used to say, man, you go in their courts and you ain't up on the game, you about to get served. You about to get served, man.